What's good, guys? Welcome to Gracie Jiu Jitsu West Houston. As you know, we believe that jiu-jitsu should be safe, it should be fun, it should be taught in a structured way and focus on self-defense first, right? So I'm here with Keoni, one of the students here as a blue belt, and he's getting close to qualify to be an instructor, so that's pretty cool. That's why I brought him here. And then as well, Rafael and Keoni, as you know, Pro Belt 2 Stripes, here an instructor and co-owner of the academy. And we're gonna break down a little bit about the fights on 281, and then as well, Keoni has some couple of questions, 1 or 2 questions, so that way we can break it down, maybe a technical one and then a philosophical one. We'll see what Keoni has for me. So 281, amazing card. Keoni told me that he didn't see it, so I was like, man, we're gonna have to talk about it now. But it's pretty cool that the 281 we watch it all together as a instructor, so almost like a Christmas party. I think you were invited even, and then we had the chance to see it, to watch it all together, and the fights were crazy. I think it was 9 knockouts in the whole card. The main card, I think they're all finishes. So it's amazing, bro. And I was telling one of the students that I wish I would have bet on it because I would have won like every single fight, like the 3 main ones. That was Adesanya and Pereira. Then it was Weili and then Sparsa and then Chandler and then Poirier. I picked Poirier, I picked Weili, and then I picked Pereira. And Pereira was the underdog, and they were putting in like, man, if you bet in Pereira $100, you would have gotten like $2,000 to $3,000. Crazy. But the fights were amazing. Israel and Pereira, man, they were back and forth. Adesanya was going at him a little bit at the beginning. He was slightly hesitant, I felt, from watching it, and caught them in the first round a little bit with Pereira. Pereira was like the last 5 seconds was almost out, and then man, the comeback of Pereira is crazy. The 5th round, catching there with a I think it was a straight and after a hook, and it was unbelievable fight back and forth. And then Weili, for some reason I knew after she fought with Joanna, if you guys don't know, Joanna fought with the Sparsa like long time ago. So Sparsa was the first one that had the belt, and then Joanna was the first defense. And Joanna is a crazy good Muay Thai. The defense of the takedown was amazing. Sparsa couldn't take her down. And after that, I mean, Joanna just messed her up. After a couple of years after that, knowing that little bit on the past, and then knowing that Joanna fought Weili twice, they went back and forth. In the second fight, Weili just knocked her out, I think, 2nd round, if I'm not mistaken. I knew that Weili was stronger. She wouldn't take her down. She wouldn't have a chance. And I was like, yeah, Weili probably will win this one. It's like her legs, she's tree trunks, crazy. And then Poirier and Chandler, back and forth, like it's just a war. On that one, I went with Poirier just because he has shown every single time that he loses, he learns something. And he was very calm. He wasn't that emotional. Chandler either. Like they're just warriors. And then at the first round, like Chandler, he likes to go like he dip his head and then go ahead with a grounded punch or something like that with full power. And then he headbutt like just by accident, like headbutt each other. Poirier was a little bit wobbly, and then that's where the fight in the first round, like they were going at it, and Poirier was like almost out. And he mentioned on the press conference, he was like, man, I was almost couldn't see the punches coming at me on the post fight. And then the second round, Chandler took him down, controlled me a little bit more. There was a part, like you didn't see Keoni, but there was a part like gruesome. At the end of the first round, Poirier was punching, like got Chandler, like it was back and forth. And then middle of the fight, on the first round, Chandler got him with the headbutt and then kept going. Then Chandler got a little bit tired, and then Poirier got him at the end of the fight, almost knocked him out. And then the second round, he took him down. Chandler was on top of the fight. On the first round, Poirier messed him up, like broke his nose. So he was on top, bro. He was like blood on top of his face. It's horrible, man. So the fight was gruesome. And then after that, the third round, Chandler was getting a little bit gassed. Poirier was even more technical, just sharpshooter. And then punch him here and there. I think he tried to take him down. He took his back and choked him out. It was awesome. It was an amazing fight like that. Was back and forth. Then the rest of the fights, I think, was Hooker, and then Bueyes, and then another guy. Crazy fights from like it was very good. Awesome. Obviously, Jiu-Jitsu display is going to be everywhere. I mean, it's part of the fights, but I like to talk about it sometimes like this, and more like how we think about the fight and how technical they are in the way that they think. And in seeing Pereira, he has a energy on him, like not only the confidence, but it's just a warrior mindset. It's just, I don't know. It's hard to explain when you see it in the way that he talks and everything. I'm grateful enough to have learned Portuguese to hear him talk and understand what he says, because the way that he said it is just different. Adesanya, of course, is very focused, very stoic as well, very calm. He didn't show any weakness or anything like that, but I saw him that he was hesitating, like he was going, but not letting it flow. So I think that's why he couldn't finish him. I think he would have. But Pereira just come back. He's cool, man. He's showing the other fights and everything. They always have great fights together. So it's amazing, bro. Amazing. Very cool, bro. And you said that, bro, about the fights you didn't see, not neither.
No, I just saw like the highlights, like, on the Instagram reels and stuff like that. So I only see the last finishes.
You watch it regularly or not? Not much.
Only if it's like some major one that it's gonna come up, but I'm just all in the highlight reels.
So you probably watched the Oliveira and then the Eastern probably.
Right.
But no, the Pereira in Israel, bro?
No, I didn't see that.
That's crazy. No, it's pretty good. So awesome, guys. Let's go to the Q&A. So Keoni has some questions for me, and then we'll help you guys out. So let's transition to that one. Awesome, guys. Q&A with Keoni. Tell me, Keoni, what you got for me, bro?
All right, so going from being a beginner, going up into master cycle, rolling with the higher belts and different body types, when is the time when to transition between technique, strength, when to use more strength over technique over strength?
Yeah. So the proper transition to use your strength a little bit more, your technique a little bit more. Like, when is the moment that you can feel that you can use your strength a bit more than your technique, or just balance them out? You mean like balance it out, technique with strength, if you have it, right? If you have the size and the strength to be able to compensate, and not compensate, but at least use it with your technique, right? So when is the proper time to use your strength?
Yeah, because you definitely don't want to, like, if you're using like strength in the beginning of the fight or the roll or whatever, you're gonna gas out. Is it something that you have to save towards the end?
So where's the proper time to invest a little bit of energy when you're rolling? So of course, in the case of Keoni, in the case of me, with different body types. So in the case of me, my experience, I always use technique, and then on the blue belt experience, when you start to go, what we tell the students, and for you guys to get context on what we tell, because Keoni already knows because he's here in class, we recommend as a blue belt is to focus on your defense first. So being able to read your opponent and slow them down, right? So being able to, because this is a question that we tell them to ask themselves when they're mid-roll, right? That's where your focus goes, your energy flows. So that's why asking yourself questions, it helps out to pinpoint something. So when you're in the mid-roll and you're going with an upper belt or at least a bigger person, you're asking, how can I slow them down? That's the only thing you ask. How can I conserve my energy meanwhile and exhaust them? That's the first thing. So for you guys to get content, that's what we tell the students as a blue belt. So that's why probably that's where the question comes from. Like, where is then my switch that I can invest a bit more energy on the technique or on the roll? You're gonna feel that switch by itself, right? It's just something natural. Like, I felt for me, in my experience when I was rolling, and of course going with upper belts, then you can be able to use the techniques in mid-roll, and then there's some investments that you can do that maybe you're mounted on, and then you're like, okay, I think I have the opportunity to get out from here. I feel there's some opportunity here, and then you use that energy to get out. So that's the moment that you start to invest a little bit more. There's some investments, and probably I'm missing some, but for example, takedowns are an investment of energy. Transition to another position and investment of energy. Submission to get a submission is an investment of energy. Controlling and defending shouldn't be that much. And when I say it shouldn't, that's the moment that you want to be able to chill and let them burn themselves by using the technique and everything. So that's the moment that you slightly, like, control mode or defense mode is more about you conserving your energy while they get exhausted. Now when you're about to transition, right, that's the moment that you put a bit of energy. Or you're about to get a submission, that's the moment that you invest a little bit. That's the thing that I can say, in my experience, that we invest and chip in a little bit more energy in that moment. And sometimes, like, in the case of business, right, if we go ahead and put money here, we want to be able to put the least amount of money to win big, right? That's ideal way. This is the same thing you choose. You want to put a little bit of energy on the submission or the transition for us to be able to get that big position that we want, like maybe from mount to take the back, or bottom to the top again, or at least get a isolation of our arm or stuff like that. So that's the more that you invest, and the more experience you get, the less you will invest. But as well, the other person experience, of course, is gonna take a little bit more. Maybe you do in little spurts, like little here, maybe you do a big one, and then slow it down again. You know, so it's gonna get more strategic. But I recommend after you get the experience, control and defend is gonna be the least amount of energy that you have, and then on the transitioning, and on the submission, and on the escapes. I'm gonna add that one. And on the escape is gonna be the escapes are in the transitional position. Right. It's the same thing. When I say transitional position, it can be for a great position, like meaning on control and mount to back, or it can be from bottom to top, escaping or anything else. So those two will be the investment on energy. But I would recommend those two. Does that answer a little bit?
Yeah, that's definitely helps.
I don't know. You have one more?
And then another one is just, I guess, more of your thought process while in the roll, like when you're getting like smashed. Not necessarily about to tap, because obviously that's the point where you're gonna, you have to tap out. But when you're getting smashed and like you're trying to breathe, and then you're at the moment where you're like, should I tap out? Should I not? I'm not in danger, but like the pressure's there. Yeah. I'm having trouble breathing. I don't know any other move to get out of it.
Yeah.
Do I just accept it and try to breathe my way through it, or tap out? Like what's the mindset?
So you're
that
trapped. So you're trapped in a position that you're not getting submitted, but the pressure's on. And sometimes when the pressure's on, it's hard to breathe, and your mind is telling you to like, okay, I'm done. And that's going to be very personal. If you're not in danger, like when the pressure's on, and for example, in the case like your ribs are fine, because the pressure can be on and then the top of your ribs, and you can be really injured if your pride is there. Like, I'm not going to get out, and then boom. So it's a personal decision. When I say personal decision, it's a personal awareness of, am I okay? And if you're okay, bro, then you can like survive it out, because it's more mental than anything else. I mean, I discussed it with Keoni. Like, there's one time that Keoni had a technique. Keoni's bigger than me, and he got a headlock. And there was a point that like an angle that my ribs were getting like a bit discomfortable. And I read the moment as, I'm okay. My ribs are fine. I'm not gonna get hurt, so I can survive this and then eventually escape out. So that was my decision at that moment. So at that particular situation, it's hard to do. It's very challenging to be calm in that moment and say like, I'm okay. I have that thought process. Meanwhile, it hurts and you're comfortable. It's hard to do it. But if you can do it, if you're calm enough to be able to have those questions in your mind, or that conversation in your mind anyway, then you can be able to be aware of like, okay, I'm safe, I can keep going. Because your mind is gonna say, okay, I'm done. It's the first thing. Like, I'm uncomfortable, I want to get out, and I'm done. So
and how to get over that frustration though? So like, let's say you're there.
It's being here in the mats, bro.
Yeah.
It's being here in the mats and understanding that you're safe, because having that experience of those situations is gonna let you know, like, man, I'm gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Like, for example, right now I was rolling with one of the black belts. They were here. They were doing the class in one of the instructors, and I rarely get in a situation of a triangle from the bottom. So he got me in a triangle from the bottom, and then I was able to defend it. So I was focused on passing my legs over him, because, for example, in this triangle here, so lay down this way. So the triangle was here. So the legs, my arm was caught in the middle of the legs, and they were here. So for me to be able to buy myself some time, I want to be able to pass my legs over. So that way, like, you don't have the pressure, because ideally you want me here, and in this arm you're gonna trap it and rotate a little bit. So when he traps his arm, and then the more he pushes that way and he traps his arm and pulls it, there's a little bit of a choke already here. So I want to be able to pass my legs that way. So I passed my legs, but I was so focused on my legs that I forgot about my hands to break out his triangle on this side, like towards my torso. So that's the moment I was like, okay, I'm safe, I'm good. And then like, it was like maybe, I don't know, 20, 30 seconds to have it fast, but in that moment it slows down everything.
Right.
So at that moment I was like, I'm safe. He then attacked my foot and everything. So I was like messing up with that. So that's the thing, right? You're gonna be bombarded in those moments. So you gotta be calm and everything. If you're too overwhelmed, and that's the awareness where it comes from. If you're overwhelmed and you're about to get hurt, you tap immediately and then just accept that in that moment you weren't ready. Like you were too challenged, and that happens sometimes. It's fine. You were too challenged in that moment, and instead of getting hurt, you can tap and then learn, and then next time you get better. In that moment, I was challenged enough for me to be able to get out, and for me to be calm enough to be able to get out from the triangle, and then I was safe. So it's understanding where you're too challenged and where you're enough challenged, so that way you can be able to be calm and get out. And that, in the challenge part, it just keeps growing. The more you come to the mats, the more you put yourself in those positions, starting from the bottom of the mouth, starting from the bottom of the side, anywhere that you're slightly like still freaking out a little bit. When I say freaking out, you're getting frustrated quickly, you get panicked quickly there. When I go with the guys that are slightly bigger than me, I go on the bottom of the fight the majority of the time. So that way I can be able to train and be able to be calm, and then they can figure out how to control. And then when I skip on reverse the position, then I can be on top, and then I go faster because they want to train to go on the bottom, because they rarely go on the bottom as well. So it's just being aware of the proper challenge and seeing, okay, I'm safe here, I'm good. If you're not safe and you're so overwhelmed, just tap and then accept it there, accept the lesson. It's not accepting the losing or the submission, just accepting the lesson that you receive at that moment. That's what I would recommend.
Either way, jiu-jitsu wins.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu wins. You learn. I was talking to the guys the same way, like when we get frustrated and because we tapped or something, or somebody got us pin us down and they express jiu-jitsu in a way that, and they were better than us in that day. When I say better than us, it's because they expressed it in a way that they were slightly more ahead of us before. Like when we play chess, if the person is way ahead, I mean, they're always gonna see the future basically. They can forecast it, right? And I mean, it's fine. We learn. Okay, they express jiu-jitsu this way today. I was pinned down for 5 minutes. I didn't get tired. That's amazing. So it's just understanding that we both know jiu-jitsu. We both learning, and we both getting challenged with this. So it's jiu-jitsu against jiu-jitsu. That's why we're here. That's why we have fun with it. So it's part of the roles, man. It's part of the roles.
Appreciate it.
Awesome, man. No, thank you for the question, bro. For someone that is trying to do jiu-jitsu, I always like get a little call to action to somebody there that is watching, and assuming that they have never done jiu-jitsu. So what would you say to them to be able to be slightly motivated to come into the mats and try it out maybe one time?
For me, it was always the same. So my brother started his jiu-jitsu journey way ahead, and I never believed in it. So it took maybe about 7-8 years before I even stepped foot on the mats. And I used to make fun of him for it. Like, why would you be doing stuff like that? And to me, from what I've learned, is that it's the greatest form of therapy that's out there. Like in the world where everything's like just loud, talking, people at you, you're serving other people, you're working customer service. But when you come onto the mats and you're learning, like all the noise just goes away. So it's extremely helpful for anybody who just wants to learn peace. Granted, you find it in some form of martial arts, such as jiu-jitsu, and this is probably like the safest place. So I would just say just to come in, show up, and give it your first shot, especially a gym like this, where it's such a safe environment that you wouldn't experience anywhere else. So for me, it's just come to the class where it's family oriented, and it's gonna be really cool. It's a really cool experience. Just get started. Take the first step. That's my thing.
Appreciate it, kid, bro.
For sure.
That's awesome, man. Guys, go to the link below that you have the 10-day trials. Just go there, pick the class, and remember you have 4 programs. But to keep it simple, we got the combatives for co-ed, everybody, adults here, beginners, just starting. If you pick that one, pick the class that you can be able to come in. We have a bunch of classes you can come in. When you click, go ahead, combatives. It's called Combatives Beginners Program. Click on that and then pick the day that you can come, pick the time that you can come in, step to the mats, fill out the form. When you get here, we're gonna give you the uniform. You got 10 days for you to try it out. It's gonna be beautiful. Now, if you're a lady that you want to come to the class, there's only a woman empowered class. It's only ladies in the class. So it's even instructed by a lady. So you're gonna be safe here, we got you. Same thing, pick that program, pick the day that you can come in, pick the time. If you have kids, You got the little champs that is 5 to 7, and then you got the juniors that is 8 to 12. So pick any program that it fits for you, and come in and join us. See you in the mats.